There we go. Okay. Hello, nerds. I don't know. Oh, I just maxed that out. Let's not do that again. We have no music. We have a lot of stuff going on. So, first things first, let's get to the news. So I haven't really gone over a whole lot of anything because I've been trying to make this work properly. And so it looks like, I'm going to double check everything. It looks like we're recording. I'm going to do the things and the stuff. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Checking my advanced audio settings. USB mic should be on. Okay. Okay. Yeah, looks like we're good on everything. So, let's do the news. Hello, nerds. Welcome to Generally Nerdy. This is attempt number 2 to make this happen. YouTube says we're doing fine, so I'm going to assume that is accurate. And we're going to talk news. Again, for these live shows, we're just going to go through sources. We're not going to go through all of my regular sources, but we will go through a couple sources, and we'll just talk about them as we find them. Once chat populates, then we'll go based off of what chat wants to see. I do not have that up on this scene yet, apparently. I'm just now realizing, but there is nobody in chat as far as I can see. Anyways, so continuing on. Batwoman discusses role as Ryan Wilder's half-brother. Yeah, nope, don't care. Godzilla TV series set in the Monstroverse. That one we care about. Let's check that out. So, after months upon months of wondering, 2 bits of speculation are confirmed. A TV series inspired by Godzilla is coming to streaming. The legendary Monstroverse is absolutely going to continue. That's pretty freaking awesome, because up to this point, we thought that the legendary license was going to be up with Godzilla vs. Kong. So, that's pretty huge, actually. Odd twist is the show that it was rumored to be in development at HBO Max is headed instead to the much smaller service Apple TV Plus. Very interesting. Regardless, they have signed to add to the growing mythology of the Titans. They also issued synopsis to Deadline, which hints there will be more human activity with one family at the center of it, and Monarch's mysterious origins will be investigated. So they're not taking all of the hints, all of the lessons that we were supposed to learn from every movie that's led up to this. They're just going to lean into the boring humans and not lean into the much more interesting Titans. Following the thunderous battle between Godzilla and the Titans that leveled San Francisco and the shocking new reality that monsters are real, the Untitled series explores one family's journey to uncover its buried secrets and a legacy linking them to the secret organization known as Monarch, says the synopsis. Beyond that, we don't know too much about the plot. We don't yet have the title. Legendary Television is producing and the cooperation with Godzilla's home base Toho. Representing them are Hiro Matsuoka and Takemasa Arita. Wow, I'm getting a little better, I feel like, with my Asian names, my Japanese and Chinese names. That would be Japanese. As executive producers. So huge. We have confirmation from Legendary's Twitter account. They say, we're thrilled to announce Monstroverse is expanding with an all-new original live-action series for Apple TV Plus featuring Godzilla and the Titans. We'll explore the mythic legacy of a world in which monsters are real. So, that's pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. Oh, yeah. That's pretty awesome. All right, so moving right along. That's one story in the books. G4 loses thousands of subscribers following X-Play host Indiana Black's sexism in gaming rant. Yeah, we're not talking about that. Don't give a crap about Alex Kurtzman perverting Star Wars. Alec Baldwin is getting sued again. Rob Schneider condemns U.S. government treatment of individuals who exercise their First Amendment freedoms. Very interesting that Schneider turned out to be a conservative, conservative leaning at the very least. Netflix's Daredevil series jumps into Nielsen's top 10 streaming shows. Interesting. Not probably interesting enough to dive into much more than that, because what more can you say in the article? That's exactly what we wanted to know. New Rocketeer miniseries, here we go, announced alongside new printing of the Rocketeer Artists Edition. So, this is a comic book announcement, not a confirmation of the live action series rumors. IDW Publishing announced brand new the Rocketeer miniseries titled The Rocketeer, The Great Race, alongside a new printing of the Rocketeer's Artists Edition. Probably trying to garner some sort of interest in the book, being as they are supposedly working on a live action movie or series. I believe the last rumor we heard on that was that it was going to be a movie. When did Razor Fist become a leaker or a source for these kind of things? I just thought he was an angry dude who went on rants on the internet. Superman and Lois Season 2 will wrestle with the question of the Man of Steel's patriotism. That's interesting. We've brought that up a couple of times on the show. Let's talk about that. I'm going to open it in a new link because I'm tired of going back to page 1 when you open it up in the same tab. Superman's loyalty to the U.S. and the military will waver in the new season of Superman and Lois as part of the next big plot thread. So, once again, apparently not learning our lesson from all of the backlash from them doing this in the comic books. The introduction of a new character and a military liaison to the Man of Steel, Lieutenant Mitch Anderson, played by Ian Boehm, wants Superman's full allegiance to his country. This may not go in Anderson's favor when Soup admits he gave it to the world a long time ago. Interesting. Kind of goes along with what we talked about when this was first introduced in the comic books. Of he's never been one to not save the world when the time calls for it, but because he calls America home, people think that the truth, justice, and the American way is still the relevant thing. I feel like it's a good motto. It's a good way to live your life, but I don't think that's necessarily 100%, and I'm gonna get flack for this. I don't think it's necessarily 100% necessary for the character of Superman. So America benefited from where he landed, but if you're Superman on our show because he's Clark Kent, and because he had these fantastic parents, he has a responsibility not just to Smallville or Kansas or to America, but to the world, said showrunner Todd Helbing to TV Line. Site calls this a touchy subject, quote unquote, but Helbing explains it's part of the mythology that we're doing this season, and you can anticipate Anderson replacing General Sam Lane will change Superman's alliance with America's armed forces. Sam Lane had done that job forever, and he obviously has all of the benefits of knowing who Superman really is, that he's married to his daughter, their history, all of that. Helbing said he can get away with things and hide things in a way that someone coming in who doesn't know that secret wouldn't be able to do. That's fine. I mean, so far this series has not been bad. I haven't heard any major legitimate complaints with it. So I feel like while they're probably going to play with the idea that Superman's going to question his patriotism, I don't think that it's going to last beyond this season. I do still think that they're going to play it more in the line of putting the world first and then America second, but still America second above all other countries, but I don't think that's ever going to factor into this version of Superman ever again. So I don't know. I feel like it's an unimportant version of this conversation that we need to have. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on that, and let's move right along. Going back up, developer tells players upset with gay and transgender pride flag billboards to cope. Huh. Buck Up and Drive apparently is a game that I've never heard of, so we're not talking about it. Shadows of the Empire novelist Steve Perry eviscerates the Book of Boba Fett. The stupid is strong here. Ooh, interesting. We talked about this in the Unheard episode last week. Let's get into this one, I suppose. So novelist and comic book writer Steve Perry, who penned Shadows of the Empire and the comic series Shadows of the Empire Evolution, recently eviscerated the Book of Boba Fett following the release of its third episode. Perry made his opinion known about the show in a post on his Facebook page where he didn't hold back and heavily criticized writing and directing the episode. He began his review by mocking Bloba Fett. The third episode of Bloba Fett is not to set too high a bar, better than the first two, up to a point. At least there are bubbles rising in the Bacta tank. I still don't understand why people think this show is so bad. I honestly feel like it's not as popular as it could be, but it's definitely not popular. It's just there's a very vocal minority of people who rightfully are probably Star Wars super nerds and are probably just a little bit more into the deeper extended universe mythology than I am. But again, we have to come to terms with the fact that the extended universe is effectively mythology at this point in the Disney version of Star Wars, and that's going to create a whole other argument about how, well, the Disney version of Star Wars should have never happened and blah. Well, it did, and we have to live with that. If you take the Book of Boba Fett for what it is, yes, I would agree with even Tamora Morrison, who says that Boba Fett talks a little bit too much in the series, but I don't think it's a bad show. I think they're setting some things up that are taking them maybe a little longer to get to than some fans would appreciate, but I would imagine by the end of this series, a fair amount of people are going to shift their idea of what this series was. So, continuing on, he continued, of course, the idea of why would we show when we can, tell is still majorly evident. That's true. There is a fair amount of tell, don't show here that it is not great storytelling, but still, I feel like it's not as heavy-handed as a lot of people wanted to. They're showing us a fair amount. They showed us all of the what is the word I'm looking for? The flashback. There we go. Showed us all of the flashback scenes with him and the Tusken Raiders. Showed us flashbacks of how he met. I can't even think of the chick's name right now. The Ming-Na Wen's character. I can't think of the character's name. I know Ming-Na Wen. Perry didn't let up on his criticism. Instead, it got harsher, he wrote, reminiscent of the opening exposition of a not-so-well-written, well-made play wherein the French maid and the butler come out on stage and explain to each other in laborious, he did not spell laborious right, but okay, detail at the background information the audience needs to know before the action starts. What is the community looking for out of this show? Like, I don't understand. I will also grant you that there's not quite as much action in these first 4 episodes as maybe anticipated with a series centered on one of the most interesting and potentially action-oriented characters. Sure, I'll even give you that, but even that is a little bit of a stretch because there's been at least one decent to mediocre action sequence in every episode, and if this is a 6-hour movie, then how much storytelling do you want and how much action do you want? Because there is a way to tell a story through action. It's just it's not as easy to do, and it's not as easy to interpret by normies who are just going to be watching it because it has Star Wars in the title. So there is a fine line. They are kind of stepping on either side of that line, but they're doing both things. I don't know. I feel like I'm not trying to make it sound like it's the greatest show ever, because it's definitely not. It's definitely not as good as Mandalorian by far, but it's better than a lot of the hardcore nerds want to think it is, I feel like. Well, as you recall, Fifi, young Master Archibald, suffered greatly from the experience, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes into great detail about this play and doesn't give an example of exactly what he's talking about. So, introduction of Black Wookiee, writing the Wookiee Black Kersantan, a pirate sounding name if I ever heard one, is seriously badass. Absolutely. That is probably my favorite part of episode 3. However, that's where the praise stopped and he again began to talk about the show's writing. Then again, he doesn't really need to be all that good because we have Boba Fett's security to offset that, don't we? I don't know. I don't get it. Please, somebody correct me and let me know. I mean, try and be nice about it, but I know the Star Wars fandom is not notorious for being super nice. Yeah, I wish I could understand why the hate. Somebody needs to call Acme Rent-A-Guard. Whatever Fett is paying his team is way too much. Oh, boy. Okay, well. Dude who wrote a good Star Wars book. Oh, I opened it in the same tab. Dang it. Dude who wrote a good Star Wars book is not happy with the current state of Star Wars. Okay. Another rumor claims Doctor Doom to arrive in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Oh, hey, this came out after we published the last episode. Tamara Morrison gives off some Game of Thrones vibes as he expresses concern about Boba Fett's depiction. See, that's where he's talking about how Boba Fett talks too much. I believe. New rumor indicates Marvel fans may be seeing the Marvel Cinematic Universe debut of Doctor Doom sooner than expected. This is not a new rumor. This new rumor, reported by Bleeding Cool, yeah, claims that Doom will show up in the coming Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Yeah, this is something that we've actually been talking about, this rumor specifically. I don't know who Bleeding Cool's source is on this, but yeah. This is not a new rumor. Maybe the source is new. Maybe it's coming from a new. So in a regular episode, I would then go to the Bleeding Cool website, and then I would figure out who their source is, and then I would try and see where this information was published, if it was, by their source, and then kind of get to the bottom of it there and see who their source on the inside is. But Bleeding Cool oftentimes is just the slightly more right version of we got this covered. Like, yeah, they don't have the greatest track record when it comes to rumor mongers. So yeah, nothing new here. So we're gonna go, dang it, keep doing that. Stop opening it in the same tab. Champions of Pop Culture number 2, Aliens, Ellen Ripley. I think we have already exhausted this source. Yeah. Manga continues to dominate comic sales. DC Comics' latest gimmick is to kill off Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Justice League. Nobody's reading DC right now. Like, until they hit absolute rock bottom, we're just going to keep see them trying to do this over and over and over again. Hulu's Woke reportedly replaced black female showrunner with anti-racist white man after she refused to only punch down at white men. Interesting. Not interesting enough for us to get into. Jon Stewart says he finds playing the national anthem before a sports event to be such a weird ritual. I don't see what that has to do. Well, I guess the larger version of pop culture, but that's not usually what Bounding Into Comics covers, so whatever. Yeah, don't care. And then we're to the Microsoft stuff, so we have exhausted Bounding Into Comics. Let's go to We got this covered next. There we go. I hate their layout, the way it changed. Oscars looking to have more than one host for 2022. Nobody watches the Oscars. Doesn't matter. Wallace and Gromit movies. All right, so here's my issue with We Got This Covered. We talked about this last week, but nobody was here, or nobody could hear me because I'm a winner. We talked about it last week that I don't understand why. Here we go. I don't understand why this kind of stuff is news. Why is Wallace and Gromit movies news? It's not. And We Got This Covered is just so desperate for content right now. They're just making arbitrary lists. I'm definitely doing something similar with the Quick and Nerdy series, but mine's at least funny because, I make no bones about the fact that it is absolutely arbitrary listings, but who possesses the ring of power in Lord of the Rings? Good Lord, watch the movies, read the books. Who cares? Fight Club fans play moving tribute to Meatloaf. That's right. We got to talk about that real quick. So Meatloaf has passed away. Two other big passings this week. Actually, in the last 2 days, we got Meatloaf yesterday, I believe, and then this morning was Louis Anderson. Oh, don't do that to me. Let's try that again. There we go. Stop it. Following news of his passing this morning, fans are remembering the musician and prolific actor known as Meatloaf. One of Meatloaf's most iconic performances was as Robert Paulson. His name was Robert Paulson. Project Mayhem, Turning Point, blah, blah, blah. After his death, many of the tweets simply read, his name was Robert. That is so super appropriate. That's great. And I have my stuff set up, so you can't see the pictures, but apparently they're posting this picture all over the Twitters, and that is super appropriate, and I think that's pretty freaking awesome. Probably the greatest movie ever made, Fight Club. Not gonna lie, say what you will about me because I think that, but I can defend it in cinema terms, I can defend it in writing terms, I can defend it in the adaptation of the book terms. So let's have that fight in the comments, shall we? So Louis Anderson also passed away. Why Louis is relevant, I feel like slightly more relevant than, no, I guess you can't say that because Meatloaf was in Brain Fart. Why did I just forget the name of that dang musical? Rocky Horror Picture Show. Good Lord. So Meatloaf was in Rocky Horror Picture Show, so that gives him some pretty epic nerd cred. But also, Louis Anderson had a cartoon back in the 90s, Life with Louis. Watched it pretty much every day after school, not gonna lie. Where's the announcement of his passing? Good Lord, come on, We Got This Covered. Nobody cares. Michael Keaton rumored to shoot Batgirl scenes next month. Okay. Nicolas Cage's stupidest action movies. Why is this news? Why are you news? You're not. Go away. Thor: Love and Thunder star hints at LGBTQ plus storyline. Guillermo del Toro is working with Bradley Cooper on Nightmare Alley. Changed his life. Interesting, actually, but not interesting enough for us. If you wrong Black Adam, you die, according to The Rock. Whatever. Johnny Depp finally cast in a new movie. French royalty. What is the movie? Johnny Depp has effectively been ostracized from the mainstream Hollywood community because of lies. Well, not entirely lies, but also he's not the only one in that situation that is guilty of bad things. But we're not going to go there. He will be playing Eugene Smith in Minamata. Oh, no, that was back in 2018 was the last movie that he played. Depp has been cast as King Louis the 15th in a biopic for King Louis the 15th, apparently. Interesting. Hailing from French filmmaker Mai Wen, production kicks off this summer. Rock and roll. Congrats, Johnny. Moving right along. Oh, this is another site that we have to open in a new tab because it does that garbage. Live action Aristocats. Why does everything need a live action? It's the new releasing it from the vault so they can maintain their copyright. If they do something new with it every so many years, they can maintain their copyright and nobody can it doesn't become public domain. Scream 2022, still haven't watched it. Unfortunately, maybe. I still don't. I'm not seeing the announcement of Louis' passing. So let's go. Let's just check this out. Over the past 30 years, yeah, just people loved Louis Anderson. Louis Anderson was great, not gonna lie. Gilbert Gottfried shares tribute to his good friends Bob Saget and Louis Anderson. Man, that's crazy. Louis Anderson. Oh, cancer. That's what took Louis. '68, and then Meatloaf was 74. I didn't open in a new tab, so it's going to open back up to page 1. Oh, I guess we were on page 1, so it's okay. Hey, so this is a thing. Why was Meatloaf called Meatloaf? Don't know. Yesterday, beloved musician and actor Meatloaf tragically died at the age of 74. As a natural-born entertainer, Meatloaf was an idol to many, particularly for his esteemed career as musician. Born Michael Lee Day, he had a powerful and wide-ranging singing voice. Some of his most famous songs are "I Do Anything for Love," "Paradise by the Dashboard Light." Meatloaf had many adoring followers. His Bat Out of Hell trilogy, Bat Out of Hell, Bat Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell, Bat Out of Hell 3, The Monsters Loose, sold more than 65 million albums worldwide. Michael Lee Day founded the stage moniker Meatloaf. Years after appearing in concerts with a live theatrical show, Meatloaf fans may be unclear on the origin of the nickname, which started as an insult and grew to become a statement. In 2016, Meatloaf appeared in an episode of Oprah, Where Are They Now?, during which Winfrey asked him about his colorful name. He offered up a new story that ran contrary to other ones that have floated around over the decades, which he claimed was the real one. 4 days after he was born in 47, he was still bright red, and doctors advised his parents to keep the baby at the hospital until the condition improved. He slept in a plastic crib, and on the name tag, Aday's father asked a nurse to write meat because he looked like a 9.5 pounds of ground chuck. The name tag then read meat, which went on to become his childhood nickname. The loaf part became when he was a heavyset teenage football player. They accidentally stepped on his coach's foot, and the coach said, "Get off my foot, you hunk of meatloaf." Another kid overheard and taped a piece of paper onto a day's logger that read Meatloaf. Interesting. That's how Meatloaf got his nickname. All right, Ethan Hawke's best performances ranked. Nobody cares. Make a YouTube video about it. Move on. I don't want to read about it. House of Gucci cut a sex scene between Lady Gaga and Selma Hayek. Interesting, but not interesting enough. Cult classic that nobody can reboot lurks in the streaming shadows. That would be The Crow, and it drives me crazy when they beat around the bush like that. Twilight Star pitches a spinoff inspired by X-Men storyline. Nope. Not gonna give in to the clickbait there. Matt Reeves says the Batman is almost a horror movie. If you've seen the most recent trailer, I can see that for sure. DC animated movie that fans hated suits up on streaming. That is injustice because it was a hot piece of garbage. Meatloaf's announcement of his passing. Spider-Man No Way Home concept art details a larger scale bridge battle. Interesting. January 6th is not nerd news. Let's not talk about it. Studio behind new Tom Cruise film to open in outer space in 2024. What? Yeah, we're gonna take a look at that. Oh, and I opened in the same freaking tab. Dang it. A surprising bit of non-Elon Musk space news. Space Entertainment Enterprise, or SEE, has announced its plan to open a combination film studio and sports arena space station module. What is going on here? The company, according to Variety, is currently co-producing a Tom Cruise space movie and have now unveiled plans for the model and plans to have the module operational by December of 2024. So, if you don't like who the new president is in 2024, you can just go to space. That's insane. All right, we have to go to this, I think. What does this say? That's crazy. Spoiler, it's not going to happen. That's funny. Yeah, all right. That's very interesting, though. SEE co-founders, UK-based entrepreneurs, have released a statement saying SEE1 will provide a unique and accessible home for boundless entertainment possibilities and a venue packed with innovative infrastructure which will unleash a new world of creativity. With worldwide leader Axiom Space building its cutting-edge revolutionary facility, SEE1 will provide not only the first but also the supreme quality space structure, enabling the expansion of the $2 trillion global entertainment industry into low Earth orbit. That is crazy. Also, C1, that almost sounds like Gargantua 1, right? Anyway. Continuing on, and now we have to scroll forever because stupid. Keep loading. Here is the other one that I wanted. Dune crew reveal the practical effects tricks that brought Baron Harkonnen to life. Not as interesting as I was hoping it would be. Latest Batgirl set photos revealed. Nope. Who made Lord of the Rings? Who made the Rings of Power in the Lord of the Rings? Come on. Controversial exploitation thriller finds justice on Netflix. Star Wars fans are still arguing about the name of Boba Fett's ship. It's Slave One. Anyone who says otherwise is trying to sell you something. Screamstar reveals they'd never seen any of the movies before auditioning. That's fun. Maryse explains the Zodiac Killer's influence on the Batman. Almost interesting enough. This is how much filler that they pump us with. This is still this is still just from yesterday. All of these things are just from yesterday. That is absolutely ridiculous. All right. Continuing on. Batman director shares the real-life political scandal that inspired the film. New species of a parasitic worm is named after Jeff Daniels. That's funny. What is Oscar Isaac famous for? Wikipedia is a beautiful thing. Yeah, this is not a very good news week, apparently. At least the last couple of days, because now we're into January 19th. Oh, we have another passing. I totally spaced this one off just now. So this actor, who was in Moon Knight and a number of other things, let's go check out his wiki, shall we? And I'm just gonna, since I'm effectively working one-handed, we're just gonna copy-paste that into the Wikipedia search bar. And go to his filmography. So, Brother to the Wolf was his first movie. Interesting. Any other nerdy? I thought there was more here than this, actually. Rise of the Guardians, Jack Frost. All right, something animated. Only the End of the World, The Dancer, To the Ends of the World, Nine Fingers, One Nation. Yeah, maybe not as much nerd cred as I remembered for some reason. Either way, did a voice for an animated flick and is going to be Midnight Man in the Moon Knight series, so I wonder how they're going to edit around this. But yeah, he was 37. Oof. Oh, that makes me not feel happy. 37, and he had a skiing accident. He was skiing in the mountains and hit a tree and was not wearing a helmet and passed. Sad times, man. That is not good stuff. Willem Dafoe praises Tom Holland's. Willem Dafoe's performance in Spider-Man No Way Home is praiseworthy. He was legitimately frightening in that movie. There we go. Comedian Louis Anderson battling cancer. Oh, that's not the announcement. Whatever. We already talked about it. TV Watch says vengeance is coming to Gotham. Jensen Ackles reveals he's developing a DC project. Here we go. Took us 4 pages to get here, but now we are here. Open in a new tab. Look at that ginger beard he's got. I didn't realize he had that red of hair. Jensen Ackles might be best known for his lengthy 15-season stint on Supernatural, but it's clear he's always had a soft spot for the superhero genre, giving his flirtations with both Marvel and DC. And now he's going to be Soldier Boy on Amazon Prime's The Boys. The actor was on the final shortlist contenders to play the title role of Marvel Cinematic Universe's Captain America, the first Avenger, before Chris Evans was cast. Before he was also reportedly offered the role of Hawkeye, which he had to turn down due to supernatural commitments. On top of that, he voiced Jason Todd in the animated feature for Batman Under the Red Hood and The Dark Knight itself in the 2-part adaptation of The Long Halloween. Yes, that was Jensen Ackles' voice. While he'll be seen this summer as Soldier Boy, like I just said. However, something else sounds as though it's bubbling away in the back burner's development after Ackles revealed to host Michael Rosenbaum on his Inside of You podcast. Ooh, that's cool. I didn't realize he did an episode of that. I'll have to go check that out. Recommendation, go check out Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. It's kind of awesome. He actively is developing a project for Warner Brothers and DC. Quote is, well, there is... ... There is a DC property that I'm currently developing right now with Warner Brothers and some other good partners that I've got my fingers crossed for. But again, I'm not going to talk about it because you don't want to jinx it. There is him as Soldier Boy. That's pretty dang cool, man. I dig Jensen Ackles. I think Jensen Ackles is a lot of fun. He's not the best actor, but he is pretty dang good. Moving right along, though. I think we're going to hit a couple more here. Let's actually go over to gaming. I'm definitely over the movies section of We Got This Covered. Gaming's usually much more quickly. PS5 will still outsell Xbox Series 2-1. Analysts claim. I don't think it's going to be that black and white. Yes, I believe that the PlayStation 5 will still outsell the Xbox Series just because Microsoft has a lot of ground to make up. But 2-1, that's a little inflated, I would imagine. So, not going to go deeper into that, though. The headline was enough. Dragon Age 4 looking increasingly unlikely to debut in 2022. That's unfortunate. Who was the first Witcher? We don't care. Hawkeye's Clint Barton and Kate Bishop are now in Fortnite. They've been advertising that for a while. Why is that news? Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga finally has a release date. What is it? Lego Star Wars games are pretty fun. I kind of love them, not going to lie. Lego Star Wars Saga today. Wait, what? Oh, gameplay overview today. First announced in 2019. Where is the date? Mumbling mode as a throwback to the original Star Wars games. That's pretty great. Why is this taking so long to get here? Also, for those speculating, Warner Brothers and TT knew this article was coming out and was going to today's announcement to distract them. Yeah, April 5th. There it is. PS4, PS5, Xbox family of consoles. I like that abbreviation. Much better than Xbox One, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC all on April 5th. So simultaneous release across all platforms. That's pretty great. Lego games are always a win. We're moving on. Cuphead series, and then, yeah, see, gaming is usually much quicker. Cuphead series coming to Netflix. We talked about that previously, I believe. There's a new trailer for it. We're not going to watch it. I don't feel like trying to deal with the copyright strike right now. Carrie-Anne Moss cast in Forbidden West. Major Wrestling star Carrie-Anne Moss has landed her 6th video game role as Tilde in the upcoming action role-playing game by Guerrilla Games, Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to Horizon, what was it? Something Dawn, I can't remember. As a sequel to Zero Dawn. There it is. Hi! I read ahead. I'm win. The game features a post-apocalyptic frontier known as the Forbidden West. It sees the return of the central heroine, Aloy. As a successful and likable actress, Moss rose to international fame for portraying Trinity in the Matrix saga. Also, she was in one of the early Christopher Nolan movies, Memento. If you haven't seen it, again, another recommendation there. Go watch Memento. It's kind of fantastic. Recent tweet from the Game Awards has announced that Carrie-Anne Moss will play Tilde in Forbidden West. Check out the official tweet below. That's all we got so far. Tilde is described by the developer as a mysterious and complicated character with a special connection to the ancient past. Moss's Tilde appears to be at the very end of the official story trailer for Horizon Forbidden West, but very few details are known about the significance of Moss's role with the established world. Forbidden West releases next month on the 18th. That's awesome. I'm Xbox player, so unfortunately that doesn't mean a whole lot for me, but still awesome. Moving along, there's more of that Wallace and Gromit garbage. Mary Elizabeth Winstead joins Star Wars Ahsoka in top secret role. Ooh. These guys usually have a lot of garbage rumors that we can debunk really easily, but as it stands right now, not a whole lot. That's unfortunate. I think we're getting close to the end of the news portion of today's stream, but let's talk about Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is officially joining the Star Wars universe as she boards one of Lucasfilm's most anticipated upcoming TV series set in the galaxy far, far away. Following her internet-breaking debut in The Mandalorian Season 2, Rosario Dawson is getting her own vehicle as fan favorite Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars Ahsoka. Now we're finding out that she'll be joined by in the spinoff by Birds of Prey star Winstead. Why would you reference that movie as the movie that people are going to know her from? Like, everybody hated that movie. Maybe remind people that she was in Scott freaking Pilgrim, but whatever. Because that's universally loved, as far as I know. According to the Hollywood, in the nerd community anyway, I know people who hate it, but they also don't know what good movies are. So, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Winstead, also known for the likes of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Death Proof, and 10 Cloverfield Lane, also surprisingly good, 10 Cloverfield Lane. John Goodman as a villain, unexpected, but kind of awesome. Has been cast in currently undisclosed role in the Disney Plus production. Fans might want to start theorizing who she might be playing, as THR notes that the studio is keeping all character and plot information regarding Winstead's presence on the show under lock and key for now. 5th cast member attached to Ahsoka, Hayden Christensen, we already have confirmed. Ewan McGregor, on top of his return to Obi-Wan. Ahsoka Tano's Padawan during Clone Wars. What is the other castings? Oh, Ewan McGregor will be in. Okay. Yeah, no other doesn't talk about the rest of the casting, but I mean, we've talked about it previously. I just don't remember who they are. All right, well, TV. Marvel Studios may have dropped 2 Disney Plus shows from the 2022 lineup. Weird. Let's take a look at that one, actually, because this might be rumor that we can get into. Last week, Marvel Studios' official Japanese website appeared to confirm that we would be getting 6 new slices of MCU TV content across 2022. The news was pretty surprising as it included 1 brand new series and the second run of a 2021 show that we previously hadn't expected to land on Disney Plus this year. Specifically, Secret Invasion starring Nick Fury and Ben Mendelsohn, and What If Season 2. It now appears that this earlier listing was an error, as Marvel Studios Japan has since been updated to remove mentions of both Secret Wars and What If coming this year. Weird, because they put it in their trailer. Those still confirmed to be arriving sometime over the next 12 months are Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and I Am Groot. The only one that is officially being given a specific release date at this point, however, is Moon Knight, which recently dropped its first trailer, which we talked about in the regular episode at the beginning of the week. What If only premiered its first season last summer, so having the next batch of episodes drop so soon seemed unlikely. Weird how that is the nature of TV and streaming these days, because it used to be it was expected that a year later you would get the next season. Especially as Marvel has such a long list of fresh series to get through before it starts bringing back old ones for their sophomore runs. The two are not necessarily mutually exclusive. I don't think that you have to do one and not the other. You can bring a series back for its second season and also be working on another series. Just whatever. March 30th for Moon Knight. For those of you who are listening in post, that is the day that the things happen. March 30th is the release date onto the Disney Plus. So CW crossover. Why is this comic book news? First ever comic book cross. Oh, because it's a comic book crossover. That's interesting. Let's get into that. CW's Arrowverse is getting its first ever comic book crossover. CW's Arrowverse has been getting bigger and bigger on the small screen since Arrow launched a full decade ago, but it's now not on TV. So I still don't understand why they call it the Arrowverse. It should be the Flashverse or the Berlantiverse, as Kevin Smith puts it, which I appreciate that one the most. But now it's going back to its roots. DC Comics has announced that the popular shared TV universe is getting its first ever comic book crossover event this year titled Earth Prime. Interesting. As per the designation given to the Arrowverse's main Earth, it's as approved by Arrowverse producers and penned by staff writers. The 6-part Earth Prime miniseries kicks off this April and will play out over 3 months. That's really cool. While the first 5 double-sized issues will highlight each of the 5 shows currently on the airwaves, the 6th will then form a crossover. Oh, that's how they're going to do the crossover this year, because it's a creative way to get around COVID restrictions and potentially boost comic book sales. So I can respect the attempt. I don't think it's going to work, but I can definitely respect the attempt. Ryan Wilder's Scarlet Knight battling Clayface in his Arrowverse canon debut after he binds himself to a local high school student. Didn't know that was a thing Clayface did, but I haven't read a book containing Clayface probably for 15 years, so would not surprise me if they've expanded that character. All right, so I think that's about where we're calling this part of the stream. So for those of you listening and or watching in post, thank you very much, nerds, for joining. Let me switch this camera one more time. Thank you very much, nerds, for joining. This is going to be the end of this portion. So if you're watching in post, and I have done the thing that I'm trying to plan on. Remember, we're still in the off season, so everything is very much still in a beta sort of stage. So I do plan on in the future using these lives as the second episode for the week. They are not going to happen every week just because my day job and my personal life is going to affect that. However, as often as they can, they will happen. So that being said, if you are listening to this on one of the audio outlets, then this is where it ends, and I thank you very much, nerds, for joining me. If you're watching this, then you are about to join me for the Halo portion of today. What with Halo Infinite getting the Cyber Showdown, that is where we are going next. I appreciate your faces, nerds. I am going to switch this over to a different scene for a moment and go get a drink of water, and then we will pick back up with Halo. Yeah, there we go. All right, guys. I will be right back. Check, check, check. Right. Back on the thing. Let's make a note real. All right, nerds. Thank you for sticking around if you're watching this in post, because chat didn't populate. It's the off season. I don't expect chat to be super active, so it kind of is what it is. I hope this is working. Game. Let's see. It is not, because I'm a dummy. So we're going to end the stream and come back. Up streaming.